Today we're going to be talking about lambda functions. A lambda function is a simple, short, throwaway function which is designed to be created inline in code. They're also known as lambda expressions or anonymous functions. Let's define a function that returns the second value of a tuple passed to it. Now let's define a list of tuples that we can use with the function. Now let's sort the list. Okay, so as you can see, it sorts the list in the order of the first value in the tuples. Now let's use the function as a key in the sort function. Okay, so now you will notice that it has sorted the list by the second value in the tuple. Now let's do the same with a lambda function, and you will see the example reads better. You don't have to search your code to find the second function to see what it is doing. Okay, so you can see there I print out the original list, and now I've sorted the list on the second value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let me explain this. So this is basically just a shorthand function. It's the same function here, but without having to define the function. So this is the parameters you'll be passing in, declared there with the colon, and then this is the return value or what the function will be doing. Now let's look at more examples of lambda functions. Here we will name them by assigning the output to a variable. This allows you to call them repeatedly. Okay, so there's the first addition, the second addition, and the multiplication. You can also use default values. So let's make a lambda function called power. So there's the results of the first power, 2 to the power of 7. And here is 5 to the power of 2 because y is a default value. So if you don't pass it in, it defaults to 2. Now let's look at lambda functions used in the key for the sort function. So I'm going to give you the definition of the sort function. There you can see the sort function with the options in brackets. So key is by default none. So if it's not declared, it's not used, and it sorts by the default value. And then you have the option to reverse the sort. So now I'm going to make a list of names. You'll notice it's sorted by the first character in the first name. Okay, that's the default sort. So we can change that by using the key. Okay, so there it is. It's sorted now according to the surname. So let me explain this lambda function a bit. Okay, so it takes x is the parameter passed in. It takes x, it splits it. So it'll split each string. So you'll get individual words. Then it says take the last one, and it uses that as the key to sort on. Okay, so that's why it'll sort on the surname. So let's do another example, sorting people by their age. Okay, let's run that. Okay, so there's the default list, and there's the sorted list. And you'll notice it is default is sorting on the name. Okay, but that's not what we want. So there you can see now it's sorted on their age. So this is the same example that we used in the beginning, where it takes in a value and it takes in the tuple and it uses the key to sort on the age based on that. Now let's use lambda functions with the filter function. Okay, let's run that. Okay, so there's my original list. And then I use the filter function with a lambda function inside of it. I use the lambda function to get the modulus of the value, And if it's equal to 0, then obviously it's even, and it generates an evens list. Then I use the same filter, but I say not equal to 0, so it'll give me all the odd numbers. As you can see, there's all the odd ones. Also bear in mind that this could have also been done with a list comprehension. Now let's look at the map function. The map function is used to apply a function to every item of an iterable. Let's look at an example. So I'm going to define a function. Okay, so what this is doing is you declare a function, and this function is just basically going to square the value of x. Then I declare a list of numbers, nums, and then I map the function to every item in the list of nums. And then it calls this function for every item as it goes through this list. All right, and then it creates the result of squares, which is another list. Okay, you can do the same thing with the list comprehension. Now let's do the same thing using a lambda function. Okay, so you get the same result by using a lambda function instead of having to declare a whole function. Let's look at another example using a list of tuples and adding 1 to every person's age. Okay, let's run that. Okay, so there's the list of names declared, and you can see I print them out. There they are. Then I create a lambda function that takes names, which is a tuple. So there's the name, there's the first value of the tuple, and there's the second value of the tuple, and I add 1 to it. Okay, so that is how you add 1 to the second value in the tuple. And there you pass in the list of tuples. Okay, guys, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Have a great day. Cheers.